Welcome back, Big Orange fans. We're gearing up for the remainder of this season, the coming down the home stretch, and we are gearing up for the college football playoff. Uh, Boy, there's a lot of talk about who's in, who's going to be out. A lot of Cinderellas still out there alive. I don't like that.
Mhm.
Uh, Bob, I think there's a lot of I don't know if it's called misinformation or just maybe not enough information out there. Because
Yeah.
people look in a bubble and they see their team and they're like, well, we do this, we're in. Well, it don't operate in a bubble.
Right.
And so we're going to take a look at a larger national picture today and what that means, probably for Tennessee. What do you have to say on that, Bob?
Well, yeah, the reason why we wanted to do this, Tim, is because like you said, we've seen some things out there that's even at a national level that we have felt that was wrong, uh, and just not quite right. I think we've been on top of this from the get-go. Even back in the summer, uh, we disagreed and argued on these podcasts.
Well, we talked about it a year ago.
Yes, we did. And we did. And we said, hey, 4 teams probably getting in, and that 3 was possible, 5 was as possible as 3, while a lot of the national people, like, say Josh Pate, for instance, was saying 5, possibly 6 SEC teams making it in. And we said 6 was never going to be a possibility. And 5 was very unlikely. Matter of fact, as if we sit right here, we feel like 3 SEC teams getting in
More likely than
is
5.
more likely than 5. And we're
As
going to
of today.
discuss that. Yeah, that's what we're going to discuss today.
Yeah, there's only
Who's in, who do we think's in, who needs to lose going forward? And I think everybody, right, except for Tennessee. All right. Well, diving into it, let's just go ahead and talk about Notre Dame. They are likely in.
They beat Army.
They beat Army.
Don't flub up against Southern Cal. 11-1 Notre Dame's in, whether you like it or not.
Okay. Then you have a non-group of 4. Probably Boise State, as of this moment.
Yeah.
Probably is the other team in there.
Probably Army if they were to beat Notre Dame.
Yeah. They're in. Okay. Then how many teams get in from each conference now? Let's look at the ACC first.
Okay. You got 4 teams still really in the running there. The talk before the season was we was hoping 1 team out of the ACC, 1 team out of the Big 12. Right now, that's not looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got Clemson, Pitt, SMU, and Miami all in the running. It looks like they're not really
Pretty much
anybody from here on out.
Yeah.
They're locked in, unless they do something horrible.
Yeah.
You've got a 1-loss Clemson and SMU team, but then you got Pitt sitting over there undefeated. Do I think Pitt's very good? Do I think SMU's very good? Do I think even Clemson's all that good? I don't. But what does the committee think at the end of the year when they're seeing a 1-loss team sitting over there versus some SEC 2-loss teams?
Right.
How does the ACC schedule look from here on out, Bob?
Well, Clemson's got Louisville, Pitt, and South Carolina. Going to be a South Carolina fan on that one. I think it would be big for us for South Carolina to beat Clemson.
With Louisville this year with that defense.
Yeah, and Clemson's bad better right now, so we need them to lose. Pitt, I think that situation will take care of itself. They got SMU, Clemson, and Louisville left. They need 2 losses.
Yeah, two in their house. We don't have to worry about them.
And I think that's very possible. I think Clemson will beat them, and I think probably Louisville will beat them. SMU probably beats them too, honestly. Speaking of SMU, they only got Pitt left. That seems significant. So we probably want Pitt to beat SMU on that one.
Yeah.
And then Pitt to lose Clemson and Louisville. We need Clemson to lose to probably Louisville and South Carolina.
Yeah. It gets confusing this far out right now.
Right. But the main thing is what we don't want is for, let's say, Clemson to play Miami in the ACC championship game and then beat them, because that would put Clemson and Miami in.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I think 2's going to get in from the ACC at this point.
Yeah. We don't want a 3rd.
Definitely don't want a 3rd, and you'd love to have a first, only 1, but those are kind of extremes right now.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at 2 teams out of the ACC. You can slide over to the Big 12. You definitely don't want two out of the Big 12.
No.
BYU still undefeated.
Yep.
Iowa State still undefeated somehow.
Yeah.
And then you got Kansas State sitting at 1 loss. Those three teams really making it up, and they don't really play each other much except for K-State and Iowa State plays.
Yeah.
We need Utah to win because they play a couple of them.
Yeah, they do. They played BYU and Iowa State. It's just going to be interesting, Tim, when at the end of when the committee starts deliberating and figuring out who they want. How do they look at, say, an ACC or a Big Ten or Big 12 one-loss team versus an SEC two-loss team? You know?
Yeah. Well, sitting here in Big Orange Country, I would tell you that a two-loss SEC team is probably much better than most of the one-loss teams in the other conference. However, since we're not on the committee, and the committee is made up of people that have affiliations with various conferences,
yeah,
the SEC is underrepresented on this committee, and other committees inside the college football playoff. We've done studies on that before.
Yeah, we talked about that
in depth.
Yeah,
it's really not geared up for the SEC.
Yeah,
and one thing that unites all these other conferences and the people that follow these other conferences is a jealousy of the SEC built over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So don't expect any favors. That's what I'm saying on that. Then you get to the Big Ten,
right?
You know, the other major conference, and you've got 3 named teams out there, and you've got the Cinderella with the prettiest glass flipper of all of them.
Right.
That this committee's going to love, Bob. You want to lead off on that?
Yeah, Indiana. Need Indiana to lose. They get the only thing they really got though left. That's what I would consider toss-up games are at Ohio State, Michigan. Need Michigan to beat them for sure.
Yeah, Oregon's not that good.
Oregon's probably locked in. Ohio State's probably locked in.
Well, with 2 losses, they're one of the few 2-loss teams I'd tell you that are in.
Exactly. I mean, they got 1 loss now, but they got Penn State, Indiana, and Michigan. Even if they lose to Penn State, I still think they are in. Now, if they was to lose to, Michigan, for instance, we need Michigan to beat Ohio State and Indiana. We need to be Michigan fans. We need to be Louisville fans.
Utah fans.
Those are teams
South Carolina
we
fans.
need to, those are teams that we need to do good the last half of the year to help us out.
It really stinks that we got to pull from Michigan and South Carolina, 2 teams that probably conspired to keep us out of the football playoff 2 years ago.
Exactly.
And now we need both those teams to take care of business on the field to be sure that we get in.
Yeah, we need a little karma.
Yeah, we do need a lot of karma on that one. I wish I believed in it.
You're right.
Penn State, they've only got OSU, Bob. I think there's no way 3 teams at least don't get into the Big Ten.
I think 3's pretty much a lot.
Yeah,
from the Big Ten.
So
we just don't want 4.
To recap, Bob, we got Notre Dame's probably in.
Right.
You've got a group of 5 team in.
Right.
There's 2. A good shot at 2 from the ACC. There's 4.
4.
You've got probably 1 out of the Big 12.
5.
At least 3 out of the Big 10.
All right. There's your 8.
Possibly 4.
Could be 4.
Yeah. So that leaves 3 or 4 spots for the SEC.
Right.
Unfortunately, while everybody else is talking about undefeated and 1-loss teams, we're over here we're going to be talking about 1-loss and 2-loss teams.
Yeah.
So how does the committee look? There's 7 teams, I think, in the SEC right now that their fans would tell you that if this happens or that happens, they have a shot.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple on the cusp of the outside looking in, like, so let's say an Ole Miss with 2 losses. A Missouri that with 2 losses I think is eliminated.
Probably, yeah.
But, an Ole Miss still got a Georgia on the schedule. They was to be Georgia.
Yeah.
They're in the conversation again.
Yes.
But let's talk about some of the other teams, Bob.
Well, I mean, Alabama's got 2 losses. They still got LSU and Auburn left.
Yeah. And Auburn ain't no good, but rivalry game.
Rivalry game. Doesn't make
Anything
it
happen.
Yeah. LSU, they got Bama and Vanderbilt left. Then you got, Tennessee. We still got Georgia and Vandy. Texas, which we feel like is probably a given, but
Been top 5 all year long.
they got one loss, and they still got Florida,
Playing better.
Arkansas.
Playing a little bit better, and a history with them.
Yeah. If they was to lose 2, they would be out, obviously. 3 losses.
2 of those 3, you mean?
Yeah, 2 of those 3, yeah.
No, 3 loss teams.
3 losses, they're out. Yeah.
There's a tiny, tiny chance a 2-loss team could get to the SEC championship game and still sneak in if they play really tight. But boy, the chances is pretty small.
Right.
Extremely small.
You got Georgia still got Florida, Ole Miss, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
And they've
Ole
got
Miss
one
games on the road.
Yeah. And Texas A&M has South Carolina and Texas. Texas A&M's sitting fairly decent at this point. They got to like where they're at, but they've got one loss. I'm not sure.
They could drop both of those.
They could. They could. They absolutely could.
South Carolina's defense, as long as it plays as good as it is, they can make it a competitive game. And it's at South Carolina.
Right. So to kind of summarize things, Tim, we believe the SEC will probably get 4 teams in. Probably. I mean, if I was...
I don't feel great about... I know my mind tells me 4, or my heart tells me 4, probably, but my mind's telling me 3's a bigger possibility than what I like.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably like 75% chance we get 4 in, probably like, 20% chance we get 3, and like 5% chance we get like 5 in, but I think 5's almost impossible. Yeah. There'd have to be like a lot of good things.
There'd have to be utter chaos in the rest of it.
Everything would pretty much have to fall in our situation for 5 to get in.
Yes. So that's kind of where we are today. I like Tennessee's chances right now, even with a second loss, of being in the conversation, but it's going to be tight.
Yeah, we just need to win out. And, honestly, it goes right back to Nico in the passing game. If it gets better, if passing game gets better, then we're all right probably, and we can win these games. But if that don't improve, and hopefully it did improve over the open date, then it may not matter, because we probably got, maybe possibly 2 losses that's coming. I mean, we got to play better than what we have. Either way, because we don't want to make the playoffs. We want to make the playoffs regardless, but we're not going to win a championship unless the passing game gets better.
Yeah. Okay, fans, appreciate y'all joining us today. Leave some comments of how you feel that the playoff situation is going to play out.
Yeah.
And what do you think it is as of today?
Yeah.
I know we are probably in a minority on a couple of these thoughts that we have, but give us your thoughts.
Yeah.
And until next time, go Big Orange. Let's beat Kentucky this weekend and just move forward.
Yeah. Go Vols.